There's a lot that can be said and will be said and will continue to be said about the New York mayoral race. And there are a bunch of races in this cycle that matter. Zahran Mondan grabs all the oxygen from this because he has been made the star of the Democrat Party, which has been said 1,000 times. He's the new leader of the Democrat Party, which has been said 1,000 times. Pelosi is leaving, and we're going to have someone more perverse than her coming in, Scott Wiener, which hasn't been said enough. But with Pelosi out and AOC done expired, I mean, she's still alive, but her attraction has expired. She's now flying private. Everybody sees this. She's now a Bernie bro. Everybody sees that. Zahran's the new edge player. So what hasn't been said? One of the things that has not been said about Zahran Mondan is how we can use the NFL to explain his acceptance speech. Because you can reverse engineer what someone is doing by looking at the effects of what they're doing. How were they created? What was this created to do? For instance, you can pick up an axe and try a whole bunch of different things with it. It's not a very good hammer. It's not a super good spoon, but man, it can chop down a tree. So Zahran Mondan was, what is the through line here? What does he appear designed to do? We can explain this through the NFL, believe it or not. There's a portion of his speech that's gotten attention, and it should get attention because he is now going through and removing the hyphens. There was a lot of controversy, and if you're young, you might not know this, but it used to be a very controversial thing to call someone an African American or a Mexican American or an Italian American. There were all these articles about the hyphenated American and how dangerous it was for us to have people maintain their country of origin identity when they should just become Americans. After all, the idea is a melting pot. E pluribus unum, from many one. And if you're in school these days, you've never heard e pluribus unum. If you have, it has to do with something around white supremacy. So when Zahran Mondan gave his acceptance speech, and you page through the anger, you get rid of the bitterness, the coveting, the promises that he does intend to follow through on, and the implied promises, which is part and parcel of his hyphenating, actually the removal of hyphenating. Then we can get to the NFL as an explanation for this. So here's Zahran, and he is explaining how this movement won and how it became to be. Then we'll get to the NFL by way of comparison.
Thank you to those so often forgotten by the politics of our city who made this movement their own. I speak of Yemeni bodega owners and Mexican abuelas, Senegalese taxi drivers and Uzbek nurses, Trinidadian line cooks and Ethiopian aunties. Yes, aunties. To every New Yorker in Kensington and Midwood and Hunts Point.
Finally, he gets to New Yorkers after he mentions people who are here as foreigners and intend to remain foreigners, and he wants them to remain foreigners. The purpose of Zahran Mondan is to make New York not just a separate country. Those exist. Washington State is a separate country, separate from the United States. It bears nothing in common with the United States. California, Oregon, they're separate countries. He's talking about taking a city large enough in some ways to be a state in terms of population and income and tax base, and making it into a series of countries. Yes, I'm aware that there is an Italian part of New York City, of Manhattan. I'm aware that there's an Irish portion. I know that there's a Chinese portion and a Jewish portion, but those have always been ethnic portions. They've never been country of origin portions. It is New York where people came to become American, to start the process of no longer being hyphenated by coming into a country they love because they love what it promised, which was, we'll protect your life, we'll protect your liberty so you can pursue happiness. And in that pursuit, we built a country to which everybody wanted to go. It's like building a successful team. Back in the day, a guy named Reggie White, who was my friend Zach Abraham reminded me, he was a pastor. He was a dominant defensive lineman. He went to Green Bay and then used his influence to bring other people to Green Bay, saying, hey, let's build a Super Bowl caliber team. Brett Favre was there. Favre took a pay cut so they could afford better players to come. Some of the superstars took pay cuts. It's about getting a team back to the Super Bowl. And if you follow the NFL at all, you know that the Green Bay Packers have a storied history. That succeeded. We can use this as an example of what America used to be. It used to be the team everyone wanted to join because you had the best possibility of winning the Super Bowl. But at that point, Reggie White wasn't saying, hey, let's have a bunch of people who can't play the game. You know, it's not fair. We're looking for all the superstars. Let's look for some laggards. Let's look for some people who are problem teammates. Let's look for some people who don't do what they're supposed to do on the field. Let's look for some people who are having drug and alcohol issues and who have injury issues. He didn't say that. Let's bring in the best of the best. Not because he didn't like guys who developed these problems. After all, he's a pastor. He's a Christian man. It was because they wanted to build a winning team. But we can extend this further if we look at Zahran Mondan and we look at a specific moment back in NFL history. A very famous moment back in NFL history, back in 2003, and I will show you this in a second. Zahran Mondan isn't saying it, but you know he hates Christianity. First of all, he is a Muslim. That doesn't mean he hates Christianity, but he's a liar. Muslims do not, in their country, say, hey, let's do away with the police. Let's not have any law and order. Sure, that goes on in Nigeria, where it's being attacked by Boko Haram, but in functioning Muslim countries, they don't do that. And I'm not counting Afghanistan as a functioning Muslim country. It is, but now that it's been taken over by the Taliban, those aren't cops. Those are demons. But look at Qatar or Saudi Arabia and those countries. They have cops. Zahran Mondan is pretending to be a moderate Muslim, in my judgment, because he intends to take the country down. I bring this up because of Angel Studios. They didn't know how prescient they were when they created Disciples in the Moonlight. This is a story about one night where 12 guys who are disciples go smuggling Bibles into Saudi Arabia. Yemen. In the United States, because the Bible's been outlawed. If you think that sounds insane, remember that in Canada, they intend to be able to prosecute you for hate speech for reading from the Bible. And Disciples in the Moonlight tells the story of an America not so far in the future where this is happening here. It's brave Christian filmmaking. You can check it out at angel.com/Herman. That's angel.com/Herman. Join the Angel Guild. You won't just be watching, you'll be making it possible for more brave Christian filmmaking to be made. It's angel.com/Herman. If you go back and you look at great moments in the NFL, you're going to notice some commonalities. You have some of the best players. You have some of the best coaching. Sometimes you have these very, very risky things, such as in 2003, Bill Belichick made a really interesting and risky decision.
Down by one and facing fourth down with less than 3 minutes left, Bill Belichick made the boldest and best coaching decision of the season by calling for a deliberate safety.
Now, this is really interesting because the NFL safety or the NFL films guy is so good. Man, if I talk that way, I just walk around talking all the time. I have a voice like that. So at first, the Denver Broncos are celebrating. You see number 55, Burns, hands up. Hey, it's a safety. Look what we got. And then something happened on the sidelines.
Hey, what happened on that safety, man? I ain't even see what happened. Boy, that's been a crazy ass game. You with me?
So they get to go do a kickoff because it's a safety. So Denver gets 2 points, and now the team, the Patriots, gets to kick off with a punt.
Then made a critical misjudgment on the subsequent free kick.
Free kick goes wild.
Back inside the 20. He's chasing it down at the 17. He's got it at the 17.
And this guy makes a tremendously bad decision.
Just not tonight. Just not tonight.
And so now these guys are deep. Denver is deep into their own area, deep in near their own end zone, and the Patriots are going to count a D.
After getting the ball back, Falk helped the Patriots march downfield.
Okay, so that's a quick throw. Brady goes back, and they have this set up, and it looks like it's kind of a minor, it's like a fake screen. So they let some offensive linemen or defensive linemen through, some of the linebackers. It opens up this position. You get a running back, catches the ball short, and the Brady drive begins.
Swings it back over the middle to Kevin Falk.
Falk is going to keep running. More classic Brady.
Gives ground, fires a screen to the right to Kevin Falk.
Again, it's Falk.
45 to the 40 to the 35 to the 34.
Now, see, all of this explains Mondan. Are you not getting it? No, it all explains Zahran Mondan. One more Brady. And it's Falk again. They can't stop Falk. And I love, man, see, I don't watch the NFL because they hate my guts, but man, I'm already up. My heart rate's up. My adrenaline's up. Can Brady pull it off? You know, he's Tom Brady. There it is. And I'm looking at the guy who'd wondered 56 with Denver Broncos. What was it with that safety? What happened? And he gets it. Oh, they gave us 2. We didn't get 3 or 7. They gave us 2. So how does this explain Zahran Mondan? This way. When Bill Belichick took the team aside and said to the defense to be doing the kicking, defensive unit, guys, we're going to purposely give them a safety. So he says to the long snapper, I want you to snap this way over the punter's head. It has to go so high, I want it out of the end zone. Like, no risk. We can't have any chance of a touchback here. So I want you to do that. The long snapper could have said, no, that's going to make me look bad. I'm not doing it. You know, I'm a guy that values my career. I'm not doing it. So no. So he brings in another long snapper. Long snapper says, absolutely, I'll do this. And then the puncher says, no way. You know what? This is wrong for the NFL. This is cheating. It's a form of cheating. I'm not doing it. So they bring in the backup punter, and he just stands there, and the backup long snapper does this thing, and it goes through, and then the offense comes out. And you got Kevin Falk making all these catches, and then you can have the wide receivers going, you know what? We're a wide receiver team. You know, we're not going to be doing these short little stabby plays out here to these running backs. We are a wide receiver-based team, Tom, and if you're not going to do that, you know, I'm just going to go off sides. I'll cost us this game right now. And you could have the offensive line saying, wait, you want us to pretend we're getting beat by their defensive line? No way. I don't care if that's going to give room for Kevin Falk to catch this short pass and start us in this drive. I'm not doing it. In other words, they could all act like they come from separate teams. Sorry, I'm a long pass guy. Sorry, I'm a run first guy. Sorry, Bill Belichick, I'm not going to be involved in a fake safety or a purposeful safety. What Zahran Mondan is doing by setting up separate countries within New York City is to create just this circumstance. It is designed to tear down because the only thing they have in common is they want revenge against an America they've been taught to hate, even as it brings them in and rescues them.